Hi, this is Les Levine, the self-proclaimed voice of truth and reason in Ohio sports. The Browns made a controversial signing today of running back Kareem Hunt of Willoughby, assuming the NFL doesn't go too heavy on him for a suspension. It's a good football move because combining him with Nick Chubb and Duke Johnson, it'll give the Browns at least a top 3 offensive backfield in the NFL. But it's a horrible move from a PR standpoint. I get it. He's a local kid and everybody deserves a second chance. I'm just not sure how I'm going to feel when he scores a touchdown to win a game, or how I'm going to feel telling my granddaughter about how I feel about the Browns signing somebody who clearly did something very bad to a woman in a hotel in downtown Cleveland, whether there are extenuating circumstances or not. I know he bought tickets for a Chiefs-Browns game and then distributed them to his former high school football team. I suppose it's early enough with the signing for people to forget once training camp begins. But when Ray Rice made headlines, wasn't Dee Haslam on that committee that was supposed to investigate all off-the-field violence? I'm just saying. More sports and Les Levine starts right now. From the worldwide headquarters of More Sports and Les Levine, it's a Monday night. Good evening, everyone. Welcome once again to More Sports and Les Levine into our 23rd consecutive year and seen exclusively on cleveland.com and from cleveland.com and the Plain Dealer. Terry Pluto, the 10-time sports writer of the year in the state of Ohio. We're all a little rushed today. The Kareem Hunt thing came down and John Dorsey came a little bit later than we would like. Your thoughts? We saw it. You listened to it. What did you think?
Okay, a couple of things. Number one is, I'm all for second chances, too. The thing that bothers me on the Kareem Hunt signing is he gets cut in December, and here it is February, and he's picked up already. You know, sometimes when you make a mistake, are there consequences? You know, and really, if you're Kareem Hunt, well, really, what were there? Granted, he missed a couple of paychecks with the Chiefs.
Consequences come if he does something again.
It does, but I guess what I'm saying is there are also a couple of other incidents the NFL is looking into with him. You know that.
I do. So,
hey, this to me, I mean, if you want to go pure hardcore business, you don't care. It's like that. If he doesn't play a down of football for us, it costs us nothing other than whatever we invest in him, trying to keep him going.
That's bogus.
I'm saying that's their, because people
bogus.
say that. And then they would say, well, you know, he's really not on the team. He's on the team, but he's not on the team because he's not on the team till he's on the team, right?
I don't know.
No, I mean, he's protected. In other words, another team can't sign him. But if he's suspended, you know, he's basically in limbo. You know, he doesn't get paid, can't practice or whatever. And then you have a situation where you look at I would feel better if this came like after the suspension and he went through his, you know, whatever it's 10 weeks or 6 weeks plus the summer with no incidents. I would feel better if there weren't other incidents other than the one that's not to diminish what happened with that woman in the hotel room. And frankly, I'll admit, a third part, I'm a little nervous about him being close to home. Now, that could be good or bad, depending upon which friends and which relatives he listens to. But his family, not everybody, but some of his family have had some real legal problems. And, you know, so I guess it's one of those things where, because, you know, another incident they're looking into is at Put-in-Bay. And a thing that I think concerns me, and I'm glad at least he's getting treatment for alcohol, but you wonder how much alcohol is playing into this. By the way, you see what I'm saying? There's a lot going on here.
Absolutely, and it is early in this whole thing. John Dorsey talked about it out in Berea, and that ended just moments ago. Let's hear what he had to say.
I just want to let everybody know that we have done extensive research with regards to this case, this player. And at the end of it, one thing we did find was he understands and takes full accountability the egregious act that he committed. He is extremely remorseful for his actions. What he has done is he has sought professional counseling with regards moving forward in anything like this situation Once he understands his situation, he is now working towards being a better man moving forward. By no means, from an organizational standpoint, is this a guarantee of anything. As we all know, trust has to be earned, and that has to be earned with the Cleveland Browns organization and the community of Cleveland moving forward. So this will be a day-to-day thing in terms of earning trust. I think we're all appalled by it. It is an egregious act. We all understand that. But after doing our research, extensive research, analyzing the situation, we came to the conclusion that, you know what, I'm willing to help a man on a second chance moving forward to be a better person. And that's all you can ask for in society, and that's all I'm trying to do.
Terry, you're a great judge of character. You do prison ministry. You were involved in all kinds of things. I'd like to think I can read somebody from the body language and all. Not always right. That didn't look like good body language to me.
No, he was struggling of how to explain this. And look, you know why he's getting a second chance? Because he's a heck of a player. That's why. I mean, let's get real. As I just wrote in my column, if he were a special teams player or a backup guy, maybe you help him go to rehab or something, but you're not going to really go out on the line like they are with him. So let's get real. This is about, in John's mind about football. He has taken chances on numerous players in Kansas City. Some it worked out and some it didn't. And I think he just felt, I'll just take another shot at it.
All right.
And you know what? He didn't want to say that. That's really what it was.
That's correct.
I mean, basically, in his mind, he's taken a shot on a couple of guys in Kansas City, and they did come through, surprisingly, and a couple didn't. And so it's like, it's another one. It's from a like I said, football thing, it is low risk, high reward. But as you said, from a PR thing, I mean, I looked at the video again. It's sickening.
It's totally sickening.
And like I said, I wish there wasn't this thing put in Bay where something crazy happened and some other incident that I'm not aware of.
You could say, well, it was one time, it was a mistake.
I'd feel better. Well, I'm not excusing it, but you just would feel better than when there's a couple of other things out there hanging. I mean, he could get up. I heard he could get 10 games. 6 is...
And without working out with the team? Because 10 games without working the team may as well be the whole season.
It could be, because remember Josh Gordon used to do that, get 10 games and come back for the last 6. I think he could go to training camp, and then the suspension starts with opening day. At least that's how it was with Josh Gordon. We have a lot of experience with suspensions here.
Let's talk about this from a standpoint of being you and I being Clevelanders, being Browns fans all our lives. I'm all for second chances, too. I don't want it at my expense, though.
I guess not. And also, when does the second chance come? That's my point. It's just quick to me. I'm just thinking it's just fast. And I guess the other thing was going on. There were a couple other teams interested in him. It's the NFL. So here you go.
216-575-0403 is the number to call if you'd like to chime in and let us know how you feel about the Kareem Hunt signing. It is a signing, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's what else can you call it?
Oh, no, it is. They announced they signed him.
Yeah.
He just doesn't get paid till things.
They talk about they've done extensive research and all that stuff. You know how sports work, the NFL works. How does this stuff not get out? If they had extensive checking, fact checking, and all that stuff, how does it not get out that the Browns are looking at him? They get things out when they want to get things out.
They get them out. Yeah, of course, what really amazes me is how does TMZ or the other gossip networks get these videos, whether it's Ray Rice or Kareem Hunt or some others, and when the NFL looks into it, they never did. Because the NFL heard about there was this incident in a hotel in Cleveland last February, basically a year ago. They, quote, looked into it, didn't find anything. And then all of a sudden in December, that video surfaces on TMZ.
Yeah. I don't know how that all works. 216-575-0403. You can email us during the show at reallesslevine@gmail.com. Terry Pluto is with us from the Plain Dealer and cleveland.com. Doug Lesmerises will join us tomorrow night. Bud Shaw on Wednesday. Then the D-Man, Dennis Maniloff, will be here on Thursday. You can check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/More Sports and Less Levine, with new content posted each and every day. We're getting new names each and every day. We appreciate you people joining us here on Facebook as well as cleveland.com. More Sports and Les Levine continues in a moment right here exclusively on cleveland.com.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program has been recognizing role model students and teachers since 2007. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Supporting Education. There, you can nominate students in kindergarten through 12th grade as academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as the Teacher of the Month. Every school that participates is eligible for the School of the Year. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
A lot of stuff going on. More Sports and Les Levine, 6 to 7 live here on cleveland.com. Terry Pluto is with us. We've got a couple of emails to get to. Shall we go at them?
Go at
this is from Marty in Strongsville. Les and Terry, I'm pretty leery about this, but I'm not surprised. Dorsey has said that every move the Browns make will be geared toward winning football games. We've been down similar roads with Manziel and Gordon, among others. I wish more teams would believe that character counts.
Yep. And, they're always measuring risk versus reward. I mean, you get right down to it. That's what they measure. And
well, there is no risk.
That's the way they look at it. From a football business standpoint, there's no risk. Right. Other than if he goes out and does something again, you could say, quote unquote, look foolish. But, I guess the other thing that I was thinking the other day, I guess I should have been guarded. It's been so nice with the Browns where we're just talking about football. I mean, really, right? We're talking about offensive coordinators and how they're going to run the ball. The Josh Gordon thing is gone. And remember, they do have Antonio Callaway on the team. Now, they got through the year with him.
Yeah, but you never know.
But you never know. And you don't want to have too many people where you're going, oh, I'm a little leery on this.
Mike in Port Clinton says, Les, what's to lose?
Well,
Fans?
I guess, but of course, you know how it goes. If you win, they don't care.
Yeah, good point.
I mean, I'm saying in generality, some people will, but basically, fans want to win everywhere else.
I know there's polls out there already, and there's not one of them that is negative on it.
Right, I'm not surprised. I mean, it's funny. I remember it was a long time ago, and I was doing this long profile on Vinny Testaverde, and Vinny's career had gone up and down and up and down. And Vinny said to me one day, he said, I understand I throw a couple interceptions and I get booed. He says, but I'm always amazed, and I've seen it on my team. And he was talking more about when he was down in Tampa Bay. Guy comes right out of jail for something really bad and gets a big ovation.
Yeah, good point.
Because he was a good player. That's
5750403. Let's check out headlines for the day brought to you by Northfield Park, your home for live and simulcast racing. Browns signed Kareem Hunt, Cavaliers signed Nick Stauskas, and the Indians signed nobody.
There you go.
There you have it, all wrapped up. All wrapped up. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. I guess I'm surprised. I just thought it was going to be different. I'm going to have trouble. I'm going to have trouble rooting for the guy, and I don't like that. I don't like thinking about that.
The only good thing I would say is by the time, because I anticipate a lengthy suspension. So if we get to like 9 months from now, and actually he's been doing things right in that period, that to me would be encouraging. But, I just see the Browns. You got Chubb, you got Duke Johnson.
You know how you talk about, or how the Browns talk about everybody in lockstep with each other. I can't imagine that everybody in the front office, including the owners, including the Green Bay guys, and so on, I can't believe all of them saying, yeah, this is a good move to make.
Probably not, but obviously ownership signed off on it.
Yeah. You don't make a move like that.
No, you really don't. Especially because in the end, you own the product. If you're the Haslams, you own it. So how are you willing to bring him in knowing that, again, as I said, there's a couple other incidents hanging out there, and that he needs to go through a long period of time of calm and doing things the right way. And, like a lot of these people, the odds are at best 50-50, if not worse, against him. So that's the risk the Haslams are apparently willing to take.
Well, based on all this stuff with Colin Kaepernick, with some of the other things out there, my guess is that Roger Goodell is going to come down heavy on this one.
Oh, I think so too. Whether forget Kaepernick, he could never figure out how the heck to suspend Ray Rice.
Right.
And the basically reason
that took care of itself.
And you know why too? Rice was at the end of his career. I think the last year he played, he averaged like 3.5 yards per carry.
Right.
All the quote running analytics. He was going down. Now Kareem Hunt.
Right,
he's just entering his prime. I mean, from a football point of view, he's entering his prime.
This is another thing that you have to wait on it. It's just that my initial reaction is not a good one.
No, it's not. So, maybe we're not talking about this much for very long. Who knows?
Tell me what the Cavaliers are doing.
Piling up draft picks.
Is that what it's all about?
Oh yeah, and they're
but second-round picks mean nothing.
Yes, they do. All right, Jordan Clarkson.
Okay.
Second-round pick.
He can play.
Chetty Osman.
We don't know yet. Looks like he can play.
Yeah, he can play in the NBA for quite a while.
Right.
So if you have two role players, second-round picks, and then also you could take. I remember one year they went from like number 27 to 15 or something like that to get Zeller, and they used a couple of second-round picks to do it.
Right. So somebody needs second-round picks.
Yes, and now one thing you can't ignore, because we kind of lose sight of it, is you'll take a second-round pick and you'll draft some 17 or 18-year-old kid in Turkey or somewhere, hang on to him for a couple of years, and he becomes a player. They do that.
All right, so tell me how cynical this is. Kevin Love magically gets well right after the trade deadline and plays. Now, he could have played before, but were they still talking trade up to the last minute and didn't want him?
I don't think there was much going on with Love. That's probably why, and maybe they didn't want him to go out there and possibly get hurt.
Right.
I just know they're nervous about getting him back, and they don't want another breakdown for him physically, not just for trades, but just in general.
Yeah, for him.
Yeah,
He's
for him.
All but 4 games.
And then if you're going to trade him in the summer, you would really see. That's one of they say, well, they want to lose all these games, but if you want to build up Love's trade value, you want him to have a good last 15 or 20 games, so that other teams are interested. And then again, he becomes now somebody you could use to move up in the draft or whatever you're looking to do with them, or get some other young players.
Nick Stauskas has been traded 4 times in the last week and a half, twice to Cleveland.
I think
not traded, but
yeah, right. He could shoot. You just bring these guys in and look at it. But it's really...
Well, he was out of the league.
Yeah. Out of the league and in the league, or whatever league. Hey, the Cavs are the great opportunity. They have guys out there, what's his name? Adele was out there, Blossingame.
Usually... I look at that team, I watched the game on TV and said, who the heck is that guy?
I feel for Larry Drew. You're wrong.
I do too.
It's not like you have a lot of options either. There are a couple of guys I really do. I like Larry Nance Jr., not just because he's from here. I like the way he plays. Tristan actually was playing well until he got hurt. I like Clarkson, as a scorer off the bench. Clarkson as a scorer off the bench is a very viable NBA player. Now, again, I'm not trying to turn him into anything, but it isn't like you go, every player on this team is trash and there's nobody there.
Some
That's
of
not
them
true.
can play a little bit.
And, and Colin Sexton, He's just got to play. He's 19. You throw these kids out there at 19 and 20. You wonder why they struggle. Well, gee.
And in the offseason, maybe you can develop a three. Which
Sure,
is
and also just get stronger physically. Because you know what happens, Les? He goes to the rim a lot. He gets bumped, and he misses.
Right. Yeah, not strong enough to fend it off. 216-575-0403, Northfield Park. Your home for live and simulcast racing. Check it out. Free admission, free parking every day. And on Saturdays throughout the spring, you've got the Road to the Derby contest. And that's every day with live and simulcast racing starting at noon for the simulcast, Monday through Sunday. We'll take a break. We'll come on back with Terry Pluto exclusively on cleveland.com.
Your basement is damp, dirty, and not somewhere you want to spend time. Let Nature Stone Flooring transform your basement into a true extension of your home. Nature Stone's proprietary hydrostatic ports allow water to simply evaporate, so no mold or mildew. Plus, it has a higher insulation rating than carpet and is warmer than linoleum, vinyl, wood, or tile.
Schedule your free in-home estimate easily online today and get up to 50% off.
Nature Stone is the affordable basement floor solution that beautifies your home. Nature Stone, the only concrete solution.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget. Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Birthdays for today, Max Baer. Yeah, his son was Luke on Beverly Hillbillies.
Yeah,
absolutely. Samuel, this is a horrible day.
Pitch for the Reds.
Picture Kareem Hunt, who was born in this day. Ben Ogilvy. James Silas played with the Cavs a little bit. And
Captain Late, that was his nickname.
Captain Late?
Because he would score late in the games.
Oh, I thought he showed up for the games.
No, no. That was probably some of his teammates in the ABA.
Could very well be.
But he was a good guy with the Spurs. He played briefly with the Cavs.
Time for a How Come Quickie. Terry, tell me how come the Bills come on time, but checks are usually late?
Because it's Captain Late.
Captain Late. That exactly ties in. That's why we did it. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. We popped up a question on Facebook. What position should the Browns focus on in free agency? So let's take a look at what you people had to say. And we've got Kevin Piles, who says a good hands, deep threat wide receiver and a run-stopping linebacker, depth at both the offensive and defensive lines also. Peter J. Butler, hello, Mr. Levine. It follows that as poorly as the defense could not stop the run, we must fortify those positions. A top defensive lineman and or tough linebacker would make us better.
They're going to do both.
Wayne, what? Some
linebacker and linebacker.
Yeah, some is a free agent, some is the draft.
Yeah,
Wayne Richard Lyons, defensive line, someone who can put extreme heat on the quarterback. Glenn Becker says a kicker. So many NFL games are decided on a field goal at the end of the game. The Browns need a kicker who can win games for them. And Dave Shoup says they've got to hunt for somebody. Not proud of the move to Dorsey. Little pun intended on that one. By the way, when the new special teams guys seem to think that the kicking game was okay here.
Although he said they're going to bring in another kicker.
Yeah, well, they should.
Now, here's what you do if you're the special teams guy. It's kind of like if you're the quarterback coach. The quarterback's your guy till he's not the guy.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's my kicker. He's my kicker until he's not my kicker.
Until he's not my kicker right now. We love
because
this guy.
Because you don't want to cast doubt in this guy's. Because it's such a. I mean, we've saw it over and over again in the NFL how these
not just
kickers,
here,
right, all over the league, they melt down emotionally.
It's hard to believe, no question about it. When we were at the press conference last week for the coordinators, I wrote a note to you about the offensive coordinator. I said, this is a guy who didn't win the press conference, and that isn't normal. And I took some heat for it. What I meant was he wasn't exuberant. I'm sure he's very good. I'm sure he's qualified. I was surprised that he never met Dorsey nor Kitchens. What was that all about?
Well, so's Cooley. It was not an inside job. I mean, this is a guy they interviewed and they really liked and they targeted. The one thing I wrote about this, it's going to be a column posted tomorrow on cleveland.com. You know, he's a, quote, air raid guy. He was using that. And I don't want an air raid offense. I want some of the elements of the passing game, but I still think it's very important to run the ball. Unless I've looked at the top 6 teams in the NFL in rushing last year, New England was in there. The Rams were in there. We know Baltimore was in there.
Right.
And New Orleans was in there.
Wow.
So the only out of the top 4, out of the top 6, the only guy, Kansas City's the only team in the Final Four that wasn't in the top 6 running the ball. The Browns, I think, ranked 14th. Okay, and Tampa Bay with Todd Monken, it ranked 28th in running the ball. So now, granted, they didn't have as good a runners in that, but
now, that didn't sound good.
no. So I hope that, and whereas Freddie Kitchens, remember, he came out and the running game became more prominent with him.
Absolutely. Well, either through the draft or free agency, I would think the Browns are going after some wide receivers. Let's take at some of the wide receivers that you might be looking at. Here's Golden Tate.
Yeah.
The Golden Tate Warriors. No, that's something else.
I'll tell you one thing. He keeps playing. They keep thinking he's getting old because he's on receiver 30 years, but he keeps playing well.
Playing with, of course, Philadelphia. Now we go to Humphreys. We'll take a look at him, see what's going on with him. Adam Humphreys, 25 years old. He was with Tampa Bay, so he might have an in that way with Monken coming here.
He's sort of like Jarvis Landry, though. It's more a short, medium-range guy.
But you need more than that. Now we go to the Los Angeles Chargers. Terrell Williams. Interesting name.
Yep. See, 15.5 yards per catch.
Right. Now, there's some guys you could trade for. Let's take a look at them. I don't know if they're going to do that.
Oh,
you want
boy.
Antonio Brown? Well, you could.
I don't
First
know.
off, the good news is he's not. Pittsburgh's not trading with Cleveland. On that
it's a $19 million contract. I don't know.
Let's
he's
stay away
really
from that
good,
one.
but I don't know.
Let's continue on, see what else we have. Odell Beckham, what do you want with him?
The only thing that really bothers me about him, not so much the attitude or whatever, the injury history. He's had 2 significant injuries in the last 3 years. Although he's 26, I mean, he's right in the sweet spot of his career. He just signed a 5-year contract. He interests me more than Brown, I think.
Well, you're not getting Brown.
Yeah, because you're not getting him.
Although, who knows? I'm making a statement that who knows what that is.
You're right. I mean,
common sense tells you there won't, but what common sense is being used?
Gee, what? You could have Antonio Brown. He's going to go over there and mess up your locker room like he did ours. They might say that.
Right. Yeah, addition by subtraction. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. When we get back, we need to look at what's going on down at Progressive Field, which is nothing but the team that is occupying Progressive Field. This is nasty, the Lindor injury. They're saying 7 to 9 weeks, but I think they said that about Lonnie Chisenhall with a very similar injury. So we'll talk about that and the possibilities to replace him. And there are no possibilities to replace him. This is a guy you can't lose. If it is 7 weeks, all right, that's fine. He gets in mid-April, I suppose, and then. But it's pretty cold that time of the year. So
you don't want it chronic, and that's what became with Lonnie.
Right.
And I'm going to check during the break, but I believe then it started hurting the other calf. Which sometimes happens, one leg injury leads to another.
Right.
So,
all right, we'll come back. We'll talk about that and more. The Indians haven't done anything. On the other hand, not many other teams have done anything either. You can follow us on Facebook, as you just saw. Get your picture up there, your name up there, and your comments. Facebook.com/moresports, and Les Levine with new content posted each and every day. Terry Pluto and I return in a moment, exclusively on cleveland.com.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes the dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant. Whatever it takes.
It takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling to bring the heat when things get chilly. Find us at 440-449-HEAT.
Let's take a look at this date in sports history. How about this?
Douglas.
Buster Douglas out of
Wow.
Columbus upsets Mike Tyson, who win the heavyweight title, boxing title that was fought in Tokyo, in the Tokyo Dome.
Isn't Douglas from Ohio or is
Columbus.
he from Columbus? Okay.
Yeah. 216-575-0403. That's the
That's
name.
right. It's in Columbus is in Ohio, Terry. Very smart.
Yeah. It happens. Let's go to Warren, which is also in Ohio, and Ron is standing by. Ron, good evening. Terry Pluto with us. Go ahead.
Good evening, guys. And let me say that you touched on something about football other than Kareem Hunt that has always been a pet peeve of mine, and let me explain. There are, and I'm going to use a round number, about 280 colleges playing football in this country. You mean to tell me they can't find 30 kickers?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's exactly what I mean to tell you.
Backbone to be a kicker in the NFL?
Yeah, it's like they can't find 32 starting quarterbacks either.
How many, and have you watched a lot of college games? How many 50-yard kicks? Hold on. Ron, tell me how many.
State's my alma mater. And we managed to produce back-to-back two guys who played quarterback in the NFL, and then back-to-back two guys who played kicker in the NFL.
What school was this?
You can't tell me they're not out there somewhere.
What school was this, Ron?
Youngstown State.
Okay. How many 50-yard kicks do you see in college games?
Well, you're not going to. To be honest with you, part of the problem is your major colleges don't scholarship their kickers.
You got it.
That has a lot to do with it. So the big games you watch on TV, those guys aren't playing on scholarship, but you'll find that at the Youngstown State level and stuff, they'll find a good kicker and they'll offer him a scholarship. And I just got to believe there's more guys out there than they got to find them somewhere.
Well,
sometimes too, what happens is guy has a bad game or two and they just cut him. Because there's no patience in the NFL either. And what that does, you'll take, you take a guy who's a pretty good kicker in college, he gets off to a rough start, he's gone, and then all of a sudden every kick becomes a Super Bowl. It's such a mental thing. And really, the kicking has not been this bad since they moved that extra point back and turned it into a field goal. And these guys are like becoming basket cases. And actually, Greg Joseph, he missed more extra points than he did field goals.
Yeah, he missed 3 field goals, and I think he missed 5 extra points.
Yeah.
And these guys don't kick in front of 70,000 people in college games. A few of them do. The Ohio State guys do, but Michigan guys do, but your Youngstown State guys don't kick in front of 70,000.
No, but both those kickers had long careers in the NFL. Paul McFadden and Jeff Wilkins, they lasted quite a while as kickers. You had Ron Jaworski and Cliff Stout as quarterbacks there.
Well, we're going back.
You're going back 30 years.
Any other school than Youngstown State.
Well, I understand, but you're going back 30 years.
What's that?
You're going back 30 years.
Well, there's chances, is what I'm saying. You've got 280 chances to find a kicker on teams that are kicking the football every game. There's got to be somebody out there that will be able. And for the Browns, what made no sense to me, you draft a kicker out of Arizona. Go draft a kicker from a cold weather state. He's going to need that experience.
All right, Ron, great to talk to you. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. We're talking about shortstop. The Lindor thing is terribly troublesome. If you're an Indians fan, and
I did look it up during the break.
Yeah.
Both calf muscles became a problem for Chisinau.
So in trying to rehab himself, he hurt the other one.
Yeah, you come back, all of a sudden, you favor the other one or whatnot. The Indians, I mean, if you got to wait till May 1st to get this guy back, Les, you wait till May 1st.
Or longer.
Or longer.
Wait till May 1st, then add a couple of weeks. Let's take a look at some of the farmhands and some of the people that came over in some minor trades. Yu Chang, 23 years old, signed with the Indians in 2013. And there he is at Columbus last year, playing in 127 games, and he hit 256. Max Maroff is 25 years old. They got him in the Pittsburgh trade, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Sort of a utility infielder type guy.
Yeah, well, that's.
I like Chang, by the way. Chang was in the Lucroy deal that was voided. He was going to go to Texas. The Yankees asked for him, and when they traded all those prospects for Andrew Miller, they wanted him to be, I think, the third prospect after they traded Frazier and Justice Sheffield. So the Indians kept him out of it. Chang just had a really big season in the Arizona Fall League. In fact, the Indians were working him some at third base, too. So I think, he's got if you're looking at the younger prospects, he's one that could really do it because he's played up at, well, those numbers look sort of modest. They're not bad for a 23-year-old in AAA.
How about this guy, Eric Stamets, who I think played a little bit with the Indians?
Yeah, he could really field. Excellent defensively. I don't know if he's going to hit. See there, like there, but he's really good defensively. Is he John McDonald or something like that? Maybe.
Well, if you had to put a penny on it, who would you put on to be the opening day starting shortstop?
Could be the guy you just looked at, Stamets. Yeah, could be that guy. I don't think they want to go and move Jose over to short now.
No, they move him back again.
I think they don't want to do that.
Is Kipnis your opening day what?
Well, second baseman. I was looking at that. I might lead him off just to see if he can get back to a couple years ago. He was a good leadoff hitter.
I think a week ago we were talking about Lindor and saying, should he be your leadoff hitter or number 3 man? At this point, it doesn't matter. You need somebody to take over his duties. You don't just replace one of the top 5 players in baseball.
No, obviously you don't. Now, here's another thought about Lindor, and I'm writing about this for later in the week. Last year he turned down $100 million in spring training. Up until now, he's never had an injury of any significance. You just got one.
Yeah, but how low does your dollar figure go?
Well, basically, if I'm the Indians, though, you go back to him. And one of the cases I would do is I would, not to wish him ill, but I would roll out the career of Grady Sizemore, who was criticized for taking, I think it was a 6-year deal, like $25 million or something from the Indians. Well, those last 3 years, he was paid very well for playing very little. Michael Brantley took an extension, and then he made $14 million in 2016 and 17 when he hardly played because of injury.
Right.
And then his option of $12 million kicked in for 18. And, even like we just mentioned Kipnis, he didn't get hurt, but the bottom fell out of his career the last couple of years. He's making $13 and $14 million. I guess what I am saying, and I would say to Lindor, we're not wishing you ill, but there's some reasons.
We're the only ones who can offer you this in the next 3 years.
Right now, yeah, I know you're making $10 million in arbitration, but say you throw $150 at him for whatever, wish we could throw $150 million, whoever you want, and say, think about this.
You might have to.
You might be 27 when you come off of that. Well, then you're heading right into the prime of your career. I would, because that was the first time he's gotten hurt.
Yeah, that's true. You think you're indestructible, but you got 3 or 4 years to play and not get hurt, and that apparently is not the case at this point. Sokolowski's University Inn. I saw the most famous Clevelander there last week.
Yes.
Who would that be?
Bernie Kosar.
Bernie Kosar's a good choice, but it was not him. It was Geraldo Rivera.
Oh, that's right. Mr. Shaker Heights now.
Yeah, having a great lunch. And
he's really immersed himself in the town. He's like,
oh, really?
Yeah, he has. I don't mean, no, I mean, I'm very sincere.
No.
I was talking to some people.
And he goes out with Freddie Kitchens, their neighbors.
Yeah, right. I was talking to these people from WTAM, and he's not been a prima donna or anything.
Right. No, that's what I've heard. Sokolowski University Inn, the winner of the James Beard Foundation Award. Only 5 in the country get it each and every year. They were the proud recipients, and we believe the only restaurant in Cleveland that's ever won the James Beard Foundation Award. Open 11 to 3, Monday through Friday, and Saturday nights for dinner. We'll come back in a moment with Terry Pluto. We'll get to your phone calls, 575-0403, exclusively on cleveland.com.
The concrete in your garage is uneven, cracked, pitted, and just plain ugly. Transform your garage into a welcoming entryway with Nature Stone flooring. Reduce tracked-in dirt, eliminate puddling and salt damage. Plus, Nature Stone corrects uneven concrete so you don't have to worry about tripping or slipping.
Call or go to naturestone.com to schedule your free in-home estimate today and get up to 50% off.
Nature Stone is the affordable garage floor solution that beautifies your home. Nature Stone, the only concrete solution.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program has been recognizing role model students and teachers since 2007. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Supporting Education. There, you can nominate students in kindergarten through 12th grade as academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as the Teacher of the Month. Every school that participates is eligible for the School of the Year. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Let's take a look at this date in Les Levine history.
Love that haircut.
February 11, 1959. As captain of the safety patrol at Roland School, Les does not punish the sixth grader who stole dozens of Hershey bars from the candy sale, citing everybody deserves a second chance. The kid thanked Les and then went out and stole a whole bunch of M&Ms, citing the fact that he actually liked M&Ms better.
Is this a parable?
No, it's terrible. If you'd like to be a writer for this date in Les Levine history, we are looking for them. 216-575-0403. Michael writes in, he says, didn't this Luplo kid make a great catch at Fenway Park a few years ago? You're talking about his great uncle, Al Luplo, who
it was about 50 years ago.
It was about in the early, maybe 61.
Yeah.
And there's no tape, no film of it. There was people who are new baseball fans or younger, they think Fenway Park is the greatest place in the world in history. They used to average less than 10,000 people there, and the day that Luplo made the catch, they had about 5,000 people there. Have you seen Fenway Park empty with a game being played?
In '79, I was covering the Orioles there. I mean, it was not empty, but like half full, 2/3 full. It wasn't like since then where all of a sudden
can't get a ticket.
Can't get a ticket. On top of that, what they charge is so high.
Now?
Yes, and been for many years. You know, compared. The last I saw, their tickets were higher than the Yankees. Now, I haven't looked at that in a year or two, but I remember because that's when they always, like attendance figures just tell you a little bit.
It just tells you a number.
Number of people, but the idea is how much money per head is spent. And when you're in Boston, I mean, it's almost like you could double their attendance compared to Cleveland, what the ticket costs.
Right, but so many people go there as on vacation or a chance to see that major league ballpark. The money is not an object. You're going to pay $30 or $50 or $70. It doesn't matter.
It's a huge metropolitan area it's very lucrative, and so you can. And there are a lot of businesses and corporate things there. I mean, they keep building seats on top of the Green Monster.
Right. All right, so the Indians are at a point now, I think, that even before the injury to Lindor, they've apparently decided if they're going to win games, it's going to be because of the pitching. The thing they floated out there about trading off some of their star pitchers apparently is not going to happen.
Yeah, they didn't get the guys they wanted.
So now you got to change.
So, or you just wait. I mean, you could do that.
Let's see. Mike Clevenger is going to be part of that starting rotation, I assume, and he had some things to say about this coming season.
That we obviously have a ton of depth, and so we all kind of knew that maybe that might be a place they might look to ship some out, get something in, and so it's kind of just a waiting game. But I don't think too much into that, especially in my situation. I think I'm I'm here, so we'll see what happens from now.
You guys lost a lot of big bats. Why are you still confident you guys are still kings of this, Central Division and can make a run at a World Series title?
I mean, we still got the core here. I mean, we still got a lot of the same faces. A lot of us that have went through some pretty incredible war, seasons and battles the whole time. And we've been through it. And now I think with a little bit of experience under younger guys like me, Frankie. Now we have that playoff experience and, getting new faces. I think we can mold this into something special. Still think that.
How do you feel about being more involved with this starting rotation?
Oh, I mean, it's fun. That's why I think it kind of elevated my game. It's just it's the same thing. Don't hang out with bad people because it's going to bring you down or put you in bad spots. Same thing with, baseball. You want to working out. I want to work out with someone who's lifting big weight. It's going to make me lift bigger weight. That's why they put a pace rabbit out there, and you know what I mean? So it's the same thing here. So you watch them go out and punch 14, and now punching 10 doesn't seem that sweet. And usually it's a pretty good day.
You mentioned the younger guys. You were a young guy a couple of years ago that got an opportunity. There's going to be the opportunity for some position players. How did you approach it? How do you think they'll approach it? I mean, it's an opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, it's an opportunity to make your name, and that's kind of how I when I was coming up, I took it. I had a bunch of really good arms in front of me, and it was like, if I can crack this rotation, that's going to be a pretty big thing for me and myself. And I mean, we're a winning ball team and winning for years now. So I mean, you crack this lineup, make this lineup. It's obviously a feat for yourself and for your own, personal endeavors.
Mike Clevenger turns out to be a pretty good pitcher, but here's the problem as I see it. The rotation is probably as good as any team in baseball, top 3 for sure, I think. But if they go the quality start route and get 6 innings, that means you better get somebody in your bullpen to get you to the 8th and 9th inning. And I don't think they have that. They may have that guy, but I don't think they know who it is yet.
Yeah, right. They probably don't. Now, the one thing that, by the way, you're talking about extensions, that's a guy you target right there, Clevenger, because he's had Tommy John surgery in the minors. He's still on one of those $500,000 or $600,000 contracts. Arbitration's coming. If he were on a different team, we'd be talking more about him. I mean, we saw the number, was he 13-7 and 302?
He's hidden right now a little bit.
Because he's behind Carrasco and Bauer and Kluber. He's really good. And so that's exciting to see him. When Bieber's your 5th starter. And, Plutko would be in a rotation with some other teams. So now, a guy that I know that they're very interested to see, they're going to have him starting in spring training, but I hear they're going to put in the bullpen is Cody Anderson. Everybody's talking about Danny Salazar, but Cody Anderson is a guy. He's come back from the Tommy John elbow surgery, pitched some at the end of the year in the minors, thrown 95. They think, he could really help them in an inning or two in the bullpen. And he's always had, his problem is he never had the third pitch less. He had a fastball and a changeup. Well, in an inning or two, that's all you need.
Do they have an embarrassment of riches in the pitching department? Starting pitching?
Most teams will tell you yes. Yes, they do. And see, the Indians, they don't want to trade Clevenger or Bieber, for example, because, those are the next group that's coming along behind. You got Carrasco tied up, but behind Bauer and Kluber, Bauer's going to be out of here in 2 years. Kluber, gone in 3 if they're not traded before. So you need to keep those young starters coming. And Tristan McKenzie is a guy they think, by the way, within a year or so will be ready to be in a rotation too. So I was talking to Antonetti several weeks ago, and remember he goes, "We've come a long way from Mitch Talbot in a rotation." Because that's like when he first became GM, he was trying to fill in with guys that he could just find, just get them in there, maybe get through 5 innings, give up 4 runs. So I still would rather have a really strong rotation and have just a lineup hitting a bunch of home runs. I mean, ideally you want both.
Right.
But I would rather go with the rotation. But to your point, and it's a very valid one, they have to get the bullpen straightened out so you don't kill the good work of the starters.
Yeah, I mean, if you're the other team, you just figure let's get to the 5th or 6th inning, stay in the game, and the bullpen will hurt them a little bit.
And then if you're not scoring a lot, can you come back to make up for it?
Good point. 216-575-0403. If you want to get in for the final segment of the show, you can do that with Terry Pluto, Doug LeMaurice tomorrow, Bud Shaw on Wednesday, and the D-Man Dennis Maniloff will be here on Thursday. Northfield Park is your home for live and simulcast racing. Live racing throughout the week, and of course on the weekends also, Wednesday and Saturday, Wednesday through Saturday, and that's live racing at Northfield Park. Free admission, free parking every day. Terry and I return one more time exclusively on cleveland.com.
When my dad started Nature Stone, he created a solution for age-old concrete problems: unevenness, cracking, pitting, and more. Nature Stone solves all of these problems in garages, basements, and outdoor spaces. Nature Stone is beautiful, environmentally friendly, and affordable. Plus, Nature Stone is backed by Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty.
Call or go to naturestone.com to schedule your free in-home estimate today and get up to 50% off.
Nature Stone, the only concrete solution.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget, Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just a mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
All right, tomorrow night, Doug Maurice makes his maiden voyage here, although we had him on from Columbus the other day. But we'll have him on tomorrow night from studio. Bud Shaw on Wednesday, Dennis Maniloff on Thursday. You see us from 6 until 7 live, and then, of course, you can archive it and catch it all day on cleveland.com. All right, let's take a look at this. This is from Tom and Chardon on the topic of kickers. Those of us who go way back to marvel at all the big kicks made by Jan Stenerud of the Chiefs, I was shocked to see that over the course of his career, he only made 68% of his kicks. He had a few years when he made 44.4%. Wow.
Yeah, and it just shows kind of how the standard has risen. You know, kickers weren't that valued as much in the past. We may remember Lou Groves or whatever, but
right.
It wasn't like now where you expect it to be automatic, and that's for a lot of the reason I think they went for it more often,
exactly.
too.
Mike from Willoughby Hill says, hi, Les. Hi, Terry. If Hunt does indeed join Chubb in a Browns backfield, do we have the best backfield in the NFL?
So that's why, and if you throw Duke Johnson in, the things that he could do, those three, you've got, I don't think anybody else has three to compare to it.
This is from Bill in Stowe. Hi, Les and Terry. I'm appalled at Dorsey and the Browns for signing Hunt. Remorse or no remorse, this is not a man of character. In my opinion, Dorsey today undid much of the good he's done since he came here. Hunt's second chance should have not come with this team. It's a very bad move. I'll tell you what, at this moment, that's exactly how I feel, and I may change, but that's how I feel at the beginning of this whole saga.
Yeah. I mean, I had a real hard time with it. As I mentioned, too, before, I always thought that there weren't tremendously grave consequences for him after what happened. And I know he didn't get arrested, he didn't get charged, but...
doesn't mean he didn't do it.
It's on tape. As they always say there, you know, and this wasn't like somebody trying to splice things together. Remember, Kareem Hunt didn't deny anything once the tape came out. By the way, he did lie to the Chiefs originally. He said, oh, nothing happened, but...
Right.
But he admitted the tape was bad. I mean, so it's right there to look at it.
Again, you know, you got a lot of women fans.
Yeah.
I don't know how you explain it. And I don't think they did a good job of it today.
No, and he just didn't. So, I mean, I'm hoping that it works out for him because he is a local guy. And there would be,
and he can play.
And he can play. And that would be the great thing. If 2 years from now we're talking about, hey, this kid, you know, really straightened out and grew up into the kind of man that you want him to be, and he's out there doing the stuff he ought to be doing off the field. By the way, I heard, you know, in terms of a team guy, other teammates like him. that's why I said there's something going on here, either with drinking or his friends were off the field. You know, it said right now there's 3 incidents the NFL is looking at. 3. You know, this is one, but there's 2 others.
So, again, if you go by what I said earlier, if Roger Goodell needs to make a statement, this is a good statement opportunity for him, not a good one for Kareem Hunt.
No, he's probably going to get slammed pretty hard. So, and maybe that's what he needs. I don't know.
What do you got? We need a minute. You got a minute?
We need a minute.
Yeah. What do you have?
Here's what
Did you write a book in the last week?
No, I have not written a book in the last week. But you know what Wednesday is?
Wednesday is it Valentine's Day? No.
No, pitchers and catchers report.
That's one of the great sentences of all time.
Isn't it? That's what Wednesday is. And since we only need a minute, we should be very close to the end.
I would feel better if they had some run production in the outfield.
All right, I'm going to fire right back at you. Between 1960 and 1993, any of us would be love to be saying, with this team.
I keep hearing people say, they won the division title 3 times in a row. What's the big deal? The big deal is they won it 3 times in a row.
Yeah,
you can't scoff that. You can't just
exactly
snuff
wasn't
that off.
for 33 years. There came nothing close to that.
And I'll take another minute.
All right.
Frank Robinson.
Frank Robinson.
Start talking.
You know, I met him in 1979 when I was a young writer with the Orioles, and he basically not had been fired in Cleveland. He had been fired as AAA manager of the AAA manager of Baltimore's team in Rochester. First time I see him, introduce him, I'm from Cleveland. I don't want to talk about Cleveland.
Was he serious?
Yes. But as time went on, he got to know me. He talked a lot about Cleveland. And you go back and look at that, where he came in and with Gaylord Perry and that, and he wasn't prepared, and they did nothing to prepare.
Did Perry get $1 more than him?
I think he did.
I think he did also.
I think he did too. And, you know, it's like Gaylord's like, I don't run, you're going to run. I mean, you know what? A strong general manager would have got on top of this thing before a lot of it bubbled over.
And according to what you wrote, that Robbins thought Phil Segui was undermining him.
Yeah, and, you know, Phil was tough on managers, and you knew Ted Bonda. This was a Ted Bonda thing.
Yeah.
Bring him in and make
Hard to believe
statement.
it took 28 years from Jackie Robinson to get to
Frank Robinson.
Frank Robinson.
You like this? Sandy Alomar texted me. He was a bat boy for when Robbie was managing in Puerto Rico.
Is that who, Robbie? Sandy was?
Sandy was.
I didn't know that.
Yeah,
right,
sorry, Tuesday Crubbers.
Terry Pluto, 10-time Sports Writer of the Year in the state of Ohio. We will see you tomorrow night. Doug Maurice will join us. We'll see you then. Of all the shows I've ever done, this was the most recent.